it's common for us to get past a lot of our more intense seasons of finding people, whether it's welcome week or maybe different activities that your resource group is trying to do, or different leadership outings that Chi Alpha is trying to do to try to help you find people. We get through those real intense moments of the semester or of the year, and sometimes people just feel like, well, either it happened or it didn't, right? I either made those connections, or I've got those few guys or gals that I've got, and so I'm going to start fighting for them and hope that they pan out into a small group community. And sometimes that happens very, very quickly. Other times it doesn't. And so it's important to remember this is a rhythm of life to be lived out. And it's not just a moment. But when we're talking about intentional outreach, meaning getting kind of out of your world into a strategic moment or a place or a time, like going out of your world to try to find people that are not part of it. We really see Jesus doing this, right? He leaves heaven to come to us. He comes to earth to where we are and really reaches out to us in our place of life and living in our world. And so when we're thinking through that finding people phase of discipleship and being a disciple maker in that way, it's important to think about that future that you're dreaming about. Philippians says that Jesus saw the cross, and it was for the joy before him that he endured it, because it was the joy of that future reality, that picture of us being with him and communing with him and being in relationship with him and living out life with him, that made the cross not just tolerable, but even full of purpose and joy. And so oftentimes there's this sense in us that, I've got maybe one guy, and so I'm just going to fight for him and try to feed him the kingdom. But you really are looking to create a community around your life. And so think about that future reality. Think about that future picture. If all it is a future picture, and you're not willing or able to take those incremental steps to kind of get there, then it becomes what is called a social fantasy. It's a picture of a future reality that you would like to see happen, but you're not taking those incremental steps to get there. And so it often becomes a vision that leads to disillusionment and frustration. But if you see that future vision and you say, okay, what are the steps that I can take now to get there? That vision really keeps you motivated to keep, the cross is tolerable because of that future vision that we have. And so we look at that when we think about discipleship, and particularly in finding. Some people are really good at it. Some people naturally just enjoy like meeting new friends, all that kind of thing. Some of us maybe less so. Maybe that's more of the thing that we have to kind of work through to get to that place where it's like, man, I love the deep conversation. I love, that one-on-one across the couch where we're just like pouring out our lives and our thoughts and our faith, and we're just talking. Like, you will get there, but only if you find people to fight for. And so when we say, like, fill your capacity with finding until fighting for them and feeding them fills that capacity, what we're saying is have that vision for that future small group community. But think about, what would your life look like in your schedule if you had it? And then begin to just act out a schedule, your life, your rhythm, with that future commitment in mind. And if you're like, man, Tuesday at 2, you're in between classes, you've got like an hour and a half or something, and you're like, man, I would definitely be hanging out with one of my dudes if I had any dudes to hang out with. Well, that's fine. Go ahead and go find that dude. He might just be sitting by himself in the cafeteria or outside the dorm, or go play spike ball and invite some random dudes to come play with you. Or maybe, that's that girl that's over there outside the dorm and she's just sitting by herself, and man, you could go hang out with her. Or maybe it's that international student that's in your class and you could befriend them, right? Like, fill your time as if you already had your small group, and fill that time that small group would take with finding. until that small group becomes the reality around your life. And in that way, we will see our university transformed. We'll see you taking on the influence in your life and in your faith as what Christ has done in you, he begins to do through you, as you begin to feed people the kingdom of God, because you have fought for them well, because you went out there and found people who maybe didn't even want the kingdom of God, but because you went to them, would eventually fall in love with who you love, and they will be part of your kingdom legacy on this campus long after you're gone.